My patient, 47-year-old lady, resident of Virar, nurse by occupation, Hindu by religion, married since last 20 years, came with chief complaint of history of pain in left flank since 1 month. Patient was apparently all right 1 month back when she developed sudden dull aching pain in left flank, which was radiating to back. Pain was intermittent in nature, gradually increase over period, and she has to take medication for the same, for the pain relief. There is no aggravating or no relieving factor of the pain. No history of pain, no history of fever associated with pain, no history of hematuria. There is no history of vomiting. There is no history of burning micturition. No
And
history of hello. Yes, ma'am.
make a full screen. Sorry to interrupt.
Yes, ma'am.
The cup sign below.
Uh,
Below. Next to comments and notes, there's a cup sign.
yes. Yes. There is no history of vomiting associated with pain. There is no history of burning micturition. There is no history of passing of stone in urine. There is no history of similar illness in the past. There is no history of passing large amount of urine and a relief of the pain. There is no history of any palpable mass in the abdomen. Hello.
Yeah, tell me. Manas, you want to ask any question?
Sir, I would like to ask if this was the first time she is having similar kind of episode.
Yes, it was the first episode what she is having, and pain since 1 month.
Okay, has this pain been occurring daily, or what is the severity of the pain?
She can do routine activities, but she is taking medication for the relief of the pain.
Okay.
So from the history, Manas, you are taking the case, right?
So Manas and Shakul are answering Viva. Prashant is just taking the.
So one of you, what do you think from the history now that he is telling 1 month dull aching pain? What do you think? Anything is coming into your mind?
Shakul?
Yes, ma'am. Sir, since it's a dull aching pain, so we can keep renal calculus as a first differential diagnosis. I would like to know I would like to know any history of trauma is associated.
There is no history.
He has given all negative history. Nothing else is there.
Yes, sir.
For dull aching pain, you would like to put first renal stone?
Sir, if it's a Peauge calculus or pelvic calculus, it would be associated with dull aching pain only, and there would be not associated with bulky pain.
Anything else?
So it is more common. Sir, it can be a Peauge obstruction, which can present with dull aching pain, even with a 1 month history.
So you must think of that, definitely.
Yes, yes, sir.
Shakul, how likely is it to have a Peauge obstruction in a 47-year-old lady to present first time with 1 month history of pain?
Sir, actually, it is less likely, but patients do present to us with Peauge obstruction between 4th decade and sometimes in 5th decade also. Very rarely they present to us.
Fair.
So,
can there be some typical history?
Yes, sir.
Can there be some kind of a typical history like an intermittent Peauge?
Yes, sir. They can have episodic pain, and when they intake large quantities of water, then that pain increases in severity. But in this patient, it has been specifically given a negative history that there was no pain aggravated by increasing large quantities of water, or there was no passage of passage of large amount of urine.
Maheshwari's question very well. So it can be that Peauge never presented, but it can present first time even in adults.
What is that crisis called?
Dittles
crisis.
So, any other differential diagnosis at this stage?
But it can be a
Be a soft.
You should tell at least 4 or 5 diagnosis.
Correct.
Yes.
Anything is that it is just a pain.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. That's why I said dull aching pain.
So by stacking with a renal stone.
Yes.
It may be PUJ, it may be cystic disease, it may be any
Cystic
of
disease.
the
Yes.
Can be cystic disease. It can be
Cystic
angiomyolipoma.
Yes, sir. It can be angiomyolipoma, cystic disease of the kidney, any renal mass.
Yeah.
It can be there rarely.
polycystic kidney, single simple cyst with infection,
Yes, yes,
cyst with hemorrhage, anything can be possible.
yes.
Yes, sir.
Why the purpose of this discussion to stop you here was this only, that you think about all these things.
If,
Those who are
if the
biased
early
about
phase
only.
of presentation, if examiner asks, you should be wide open.
Yes, sir.
So Shakul, can you just quickly tell us 5 differential diagnoses in the order of probability?
Yes, sir. First is a renal calculus. Second is a PUJ obstruction. Third is cystic disease of kidney. Fourth is a renal mass. And fifth, it can be rarely GMTB, very rarely, or it can be a UT disease.
Angiomyolipoma.
Angiomyolipoma. Yes, sir. In female patient, the chances are more.
Also 4th decade. Na?
Yes, sir. 4th decade and female patient.
Maheshwari sir, you want to ask any question?
No, sir, I think fair. I was just a bit unhappy with the clinical suspicion of angiomyolipoma. Means we can at best say that we suspect a mass lesion in the kidney, but to suspect AML clinically is a bit far-fetched. That is what I would feel.
And that is
Yes, I
fine, sir.
agree
Of course,
with
it will be confirmed on ultrasound, but it can present as a dull aching pain.
No, Hiren, I have no doubt that it can present.
Yes.
But clinically differential diagnosis based on pain to keep AML will be a bit odd. That is how I would think, but I am okay for.
No. What you are saying is right. I think in the exam, these are the all differential diagnoses. But when I mean in the theory, but when you are talking in a practical exam, I think a mass may be
Yes.
either angiomyolipoma or it may be malignant.
It can be benign, it can be malignant. It
Yeah,
can be
yeah.
again.
Absolutely.
Because we are going on a case presentation clinical. So in clinical, we can't differentiate between the two things. So I think that's a fair answer. Because some examiner may ask you, how will you diagnose clinically without any investigation? So that will be the next question. So it is very difficult to answer. Yeah. Okay. I think that is more than enough in the history, or you want to ask something else? Manas, you think anything is missing?
No, sir.
No.
Any
As-
history of
As
Vidal?
a part of completion of history, if you are suspecting in your mind the stone disease or any obstruction in the
Facial.
genitourinary system, you should ask the signs and symptoms of renal
Yeah.
failure.
Yes, sir. Any history of facial edema or facial puffiness, pedal edema, stiffness. That we have to
There is.
I want to ask you one question. In which condition with a one-sided calculus disease will give rise to renal failure?
And when it is a solitary functioning kidney,
Yeah.
when the patient has a history of nephrectomy or the kidney is poor function, then it can give rise.
Fine. I think it completes the history. Prashant, will you
Yes.
go ahead?
In past history, patient is known hypertensive, and since on medication since last 10 years, there is no history of diabetes mellitus. There is no history of Koch or Koch contact. Patient having history of tubal ligation 15 years back, and there is no other significant surgical past history. Personal history, patient's bowel bladder habits are normal. Patient takes mixed diet, no addiction, and married since last 20 years. There is no significant family history.
Manas, anything you want to ask?
No, sir.
Okay. Any familial history or anything? What you can think of?
So family history can be significant in some patients with inherited causes of metabolic disorders, or may be common in family.
Cystinuria.
Like cystinuria. Yes, sir.
The diet will be the same, no, in the family.
Also, the diet will be the same. Dietary
factors
habits.
Environmental factors, dietary factors, the same.
And is it important to find out their origin, where they are?
Yes, sir. The region from they belong, maybe it is a stone-prone area. Maybe tropical areas have increased chances of stone formation.
So which is the stone
So
forming
as a
area in
part of a history, you must tell कि अगर possible है तो इसका intake कितना है, occupation क्या है, कि farmer
Okay.
है, खेत में काम करने वाला है,
Yes,
तो
sir.
obesity है, नहीं है, ये सब चीजें पूछना है, diabetes है.
which is the stone belt in India?
Uh, southern India, sir.
Shakul,
No.
can you
It's
answer?
from North Maharashtra. Yes, sir. It's in North Maharashtra, from South Gujarat to North Maharashtra. It is there, and one is in North India from Agra to Eastern UP. Is there.
And Rajasthan.
Rajasthan, the same. So North India.
Rajasthan. Absolutely right, sir.
Rajasthan is a very big belt. Okay. So shall we go ahead? So what Manas, what would you like to
Yes.
do now?
First.
So now what is your problem? Again, differential diagnosis at the end.
At the end of entire history, what is your
What is your differential diagnosis? Very simple.
So your sequence is same or you want to change?
The sequence would be same only. No,
Okay.
no positive finding. So one thing I would like to know, in the personal history, the water intake of the patient.
Yeah, that is what Dr. Gite said. No? You should ask him how much water he is taking per day.
Okay.
She takes water 2 to 3 liters per day.
Okay.
Okay,
So
go ahead.
Manas, what you want to do now?
Sir, can the type of diet, the vegetarian or non-vegetarian diet also can be asked?
Yeah,
Mixed diet.
Okay,
He takes
initially
mixed
we
diet.
Okay.
Okay, so now what you want to do, Manas?
Sir, I would like to examine the patient and go ahead.
Prashant, show the examination.
General examination, patient is average weight or averagely nourished. Patient is conscious, cooperative, Cornflake score is 90, temperature normal, pulse is 90 per minute. Blood pressure taken right arm supine position, 130 by 80 mm of Hg. Respiratory rate is 20 per minute. No pallor, icterus, clubbing, cyanosis, lymphadenopathy, and edema. Systemic examination, per-abdominal examination, inspection of abdomen, umbilicus centrally placed. There is no scar cyanosis over the abdomen. On palpation, abdomen is soft. No any palpable mass. No renal angle tenderness. And kidneys are non-palatable. Respiratory system is normal. CNS examination normal. CVS examination normal.
Okay. Shakul, you want to know anything more?
System examination is okay. Local examination.
Local examination, sir.
Local examination, there is no any sign of inflammations. There is no local tenderness at renal angle. On palpation, it is non-tender. Temperature at the site, local site is normal. Kidneys are not palatable.
Genitals also
Meatus and bilateral testes are also normal.
normal.
Female
Female,
patient.
she's a
Female
female.
Oh,
patient.
sorry.
No, but yeah, meatus is normal.
Okay.
I have examined.
Fine. So, Manas, what will do now? You want to still do some examination or you want to do something else?
Sir, examination is negative, so I would like to go ahead with investigation.
So what investigations you'll order?
Sir, basic investigations, I would like to do a complete blood count, serum creatinine, urine routine microscopy, and an ultrasound examination of the kidney, ureter, and bladder.
Shakul, you agree with it or you want to add something?
Sir, I want to add blood sugar levels to the blood reports and a baseline X-ray KUB.
Shari sir, you agree with him with the baseline X-ray?
Yes, it is fair, sir.
Okay, fine. Prashant, can you
Yes,
show?
yes, sir. Investigation urine routine microscopy. Pus cells are occasional. RBCs are absent. HB is 12.2 gram percent. TLC counts are 7080. Serum creatinine is 0.62. Uric acid is 3.24 and serum calcium is 8.87. And random blood sugar is 92 mg per dl. And sir, you want to see X-ray?
Show him X.
If it is available, then.
Yes, Shakul, you are asked for
Actually, it
X-ray.
is very. Yes, sir.
Yeah, tell us.
This is a plain. This is a plain X-ray KUB, poorly prepared, uh, 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 not well centralized. Exposure is adequate, and soft tissue and bony shadows appear to be normal. Let's not.
Okay.
There's a radio opacity seen in the in pelvis, maybe left lower urinary calculus, maybe it's a prevalence. Can't comment.
Okay. I think it's not a good preparation.
Yes, a poorly
It's very
prepared.
yeah, it's very difficult to comment on this.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What are the boundaries of means in an X-ray KUB? What are the boundaries to say that this is an adequate X-ray?
Pubic symphysis should be seen. It will be up to the pubic symphysis lower border.
Upper border?
Upper border is up to T10 of.
Okay. And exposure, how do you know it is adequate?
If you are able to see we can differentiate between the radio opaque and bony shadows, and we can see clearly. We can differentiate between the contrast.
I think the psoas.
Yes,
if I'm
sir.
not
Yes, sir.
mistaken,
Yes,
the
ma'am.
psoas
Psoas.
shadow should be seen. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
ma'am. Psoas shadow. It is
Yeah, yeah. If you can see the psoas muscle well, it is good
Psoas
exposure.
shadow.
So here you
Yes.
can see the
You
psoas
can,
muscle.
yes.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
The first film you can see nice.
Yes.
Yeah, correct.
Prashant, now show the sonography.
Ma'am, we don't have sonography films. I just have report of it.
It's okay.
Sonography, UHG-KB suggests your bilateral kidneys are normal in size and shape. There is no any evidence of hydronephrosis. And in left kidney, there is 10 by 16 mm calculus is seen in midfield. Bilateral ureters are normal. Bladder is normal.
Yes. Shakul, now next.
The next would be a CT IVU, CT urography.
Why you don't want to do plain CT KUB? So when you will do in a calculus disease, when you will ask for CT KUB and when you will ask for CT IV?
Sir, CT IVU we will order when we are planning when we are planning an intervention. We want to know the PC system, we want to know the function, we want to know the drainage. So if we are planning any intervention for the patient, we would order CT IVU.
And when you do CT KUB?
CT KUB, sir, if it's a parenchymal disease.
If there is a ureteric calculus, you will ask for CT IVP, IVU, or you will ask for CT KUB?
CT IVU, sir, for ureteric calculus.
Suppose I will give a scenario. It is a 6-7 millimeter ureteric lower ureteric stone, and ultrasound give all the information what you required. That is a particle thickness, amount of hydronephrosis. You want and no other stone. So you want non-contrast CT or contrast?
Sir, if the parenchymal thickness is maintained, then non-contrast CT, we can take non-contrast CT. If X-ray KUB is there, like the calculus is clearly seen, then we may not even need a plain CT also.
See, in the Pankaj,
Yes.
As
The
per the
question-
guidelines,
what is the guideline? As
what
per
are
the,
the
if the patient has
indications
got
for
a, yeah,
non-contrast CT and what are the indications for contrast CT? Because if you plan for contrast CT, the function will be assessed, the drainage, calyceal anatomy, anatomical roadmap of all the system from calyx to the bladder. Everything can be seen on CT IVP. Stone configuration, Huntsville unit again both can be seen in non-contrast and contrast. Into stones, this distance is in from the all in three sonography, non-contrast and contrast. So where to be the CT IVP should be done and where non-contrast CT IVP should be done as per the guidelines.
Sir, contrast CT can be performed if stone removal is planned and the exact anatomy of the collecting system needs to be assessed.
so basically if the stone is in the kidney and you're going to do intervention, then you will order for CT IVU.
Yes.
But if it is the ureteric calculus and the kidneys, the parenchyma, everything is reasonably okay. There is no severe hydronephrosis, there is no thinning of parenchyma, then you may ask for CT, plain CT KUB. Dr. Pankaj?
Yes, any patient presenting with acute colic, significant pain and obstructive uropathy, it is better to avoid giving contrast because in presence of obstruction, the diuresis of contrast can cause, say, fornical tear and perirenal urinuma formation. So in acute emergency situation, a plain CT, but if it's a planned procedure where you are planning any intervention like ureteroscopy or RIRS or PCNL, then a contrast CT is advisable. Obviously, you would do a contrast CT when the creatinine is normal.
Correct.
There's a lot of debate always going on about whether non-contrast or contrast CT. But I think most of the people in an uncomplicated, straightforward situation are accepting non-contrast CT.
Non-contrast.
But the way you justified it, I'm totally convinced, because if you are planning a procedure, you are safe in having a contrast CT. Like sir said, this is not an acute emergency wherein you're not dealing with an obstructed system with infected hydronephrosis. You don't expect a fornical tear or something like that. And if you now retrospectively think with the CT right in front of you, it is good that you had a contrast CT. Why? Seeing the CT right in front of you, why do you think that it is good that you have a contrast CT? Read the CT.
Cool, can you read it?
So can you just read the CT scan? Then
No,
we
just Tanvi, Prashant. Yes. In the first fill on your left hand side, the third one. Yes. Can you
He's
see
showing
this?
you now with a marker. He's showing you with a pointer.
Yes, sir.
Can you
So-
comment on this?
Yes, sir.
So read the CT now. Now read the CT. Okay, he has given you already one hint.
Yes,
He shouldn't have, but sir said so. He has given you.
sir. This shows a whole calculus.
No. Read the CT. Read.
Focal.
to shut
It shows
This is the CT urogram showing
Yes,
both
sir.
kidneys, bilateral
CT
collection,
urogram. Yes.
good uptake and excretion. This should come in one breath.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Just start.
This is a yes, sir. This is a CT urogram which shows a prompt uptake, concentration, and excretion of contrast with a radio opaque shadow seen in the upper pole with focal calyctasis.
And that focal shadow is now
ureter-
come to be part of the left pelvic elation system.
Left pelvic glacial system. Ureter appears normal in course and caliber, and bladder appears normal in shape and outline.
So what do you think now? Where is this stone? Is there any special anatomical feature?
Sir, maybe I think there is some calyctasis, or maybe this is a calycial diverticulum which is there.
Yeah, so why don't you say it? Say it confidently, you know? Say it
See,
confidently.
it's so much in periphery. Can you see? See, how can you diagnose a diverticulum? If you see in any CT, IVP or any IVP,
Sir.
okay, if you draw a line, a circle, okay, connecting upper and lowermost calyx, you will see that all the calyces are falling within it. Very rarely you will see.
Yes,
So if
sir.
it is going out, then there are chances that it is a diverticulum.
Yes.
You understand? I don't have pointer, otherwise I can show you. Okay, that once you join the calyx, all the calyx, any calyx which is outside, chances are very high. that
Prashant,
it
do
is
it.
diverticulum.
Prashant,
Yes, ma'am.
Prashant, on the left hand side, you just show. Can you see
This
the right lowermost,
right lower.
right hand side, right and still right. The first film on the left hand, the lower down. Okay, that also will do. Like just go around. You can see all the laterally better. Yes, laterally just join all the calyx. You can see that they are all within that circle. In the front of means what I mean is that all the calyces, it will be almost equal distance from the in
Center.
normal from the in the parenchyma from the edge margin. Okay.
Yes.
Few comments, Shakul. One,
Yeah.
I said that refuse to comment about a stone unless you see the plain image.
Plain image. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, you
Well,
can
ask for
never
it.
whether this is a diverticulum filled with contrast or a diverticulum with stone unless you see the plain image. So I would really not say that it's a stone. Means we know it's a stone, but if I'm just shown this image, then I would not diagnose it as a stone. And what sir is trying to show you is that when you draw a line which joins all the peripheral calyces, that is if you draw an intercalation line, any calyx or any say part of PCS which goes lateral to this line, that is more likely to be a calycial diverticulum.
Yes.
See, this first point of Dr. Maheshwari is absolutely valid. In exam, if you say that I can see a stone, no examiner will like it.
And you have to ask for it. If they have shown you this film,
Yes,
you are
sir.
justified in asking for the plain film.
So any contrast image, may it be a RGP, may it be a ascending urethrophy, don't comment on contrast image unless you see the plain image.
yes, sir.
Yeah. You don't, Prashant, we have plain film.
Yes. Sorry.
Very good, Prashant. Show everything.
Last one.
See this one. The
No, down. Tanvi,
See, in
down.
the first film, Tanvi, the second picture from the
Yeah,
last line.
pointer
Last,
is
last
see
slide.
the first
last
film,
line.
the last slide.
Last slide. Last
The
line.
bottom is,
Yes.
Prashant on the left side, Prashant.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
that one.
This one.
This.
That is the plain film.
Okay. That is a plain film. Shakul,
Yes, ma'am.
Manas, one of you, can you all now describe the plain film quickly? Manas?
And just try. It is going to be helpful to you.
Sir, it is a approximate. It is a radio opaque shadow seen in the upper pole of the left kidney. I can or कुछ ज़्यादा दिखने.
So what is that film?
Sir, it's a
Which plane it is?
plain film showing both the kidneys with a small radio opaque shadow seen on the at the periphery of the left kidney in the upper pole.
Radio opaque density. Shadow.
No, radio opaque density. Plain.
What are the possibilities except diverticulum? Any other possibility?
Sir, it can be an intra parenchymal calculi also. Calcification also.
Any other?
Sir, a tumor with calcification.
Any other?
At post tuberculosis
Intrarenal cyst with calcification.
intrarenal cyst with calcification.
Suppose you have not seen the plain CT, and after seeing the only contrast CT, what are the possibilities?
So it can be a tumor, or it can be a intrapel in the a mass in the collecting system. It can be a mass in the collecting system or a stone.
Can it be just rupture of the tubercular abscess in the calyx, old rupture of tuberculous abscess in the calyx? That is cavity.
It can be.
Yes, sir. It can be a separate
Can
cavity.
can it be only hydrocalyx?
It can be without a mass causing the obstruction of the calyx. It can be a calyctasis also.
What is that
Due to a
hydrocalyx
coach-
called?
What is the hydrocalyx? Hydrocalyx. What is the hydrocalyx?
What is it called? What Gita sir is asking you?
calyctasis.
No. Have you read some comics in your childhood?
Something which cannot be seen.
Phantom calyx.
Phantom.
And
Phantom calyx. Right. Only one question I want to ask you, that all this differential diagnosis, how will you differentiate between the calculus, then the calcification or calcified tumor or calcification in the cyst? What will be the difference?
sir, the density, radio density, the HU will be and
Not
Stone
actually,
can
but
have
when
any
you see
HU,
it-
na? Stone can have any HU.
but when you see it, the stone will be
In the pelvic
pelvic-
system, in the
will
drainage
be
field,
more
what
of
you see.
uniform.
Yes.
And if it is a calcification, it will be
more of ragged or rough
Irregular.
without.
So the
but-
word for there is that the stone will be more uniform, but calcification will be a speckled calcification.
speckled.
Yes, sir.
That is the answer.
Okay. And the second differentiating point is that in a stone, there is more likely to be a radiolucency seen around the stone. So something like a dilated space is likely to be seen, which may not be seen in calcification. Now, when you enlarge this image, you can definitely see a dilated cystic space around the stone.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. If you can see it, appreciate it, be very good.
What sir is
So
trying to tell you is that even without the contrast, you can see the calyx
Yes.
in film.
Yes, sir.
So you can see that the calcium deposition is in the pelvic collection system,
Yes, sir.
suggestive of stone.
While if
At
it is
last-
calcification, it will be at the periphery.
Correct.
You understand? This is the third thing. The stone will be usually in the center, and calcification will be at the periphery.
Okay. So now you know what it is. What comes into your mind now? Do you want any other investigation, or you want to plan the treatment?
Shakul? Shakul?
No, sir. No, sir. No other investigation.
So now your patient is sitting in front of you. This is the CT scan. You are ready for operation. How will you counsel the patient?
You don't want to do any other investigation apart from this investigation.
Routine workup is all done. You have seen that. Be confident. If you don't want, you are ready. You say, I'm okay.
No,
sir."
sir.
now
No,
you're
sir.
planning-
No other investigation.
So your diagnosis is a diverticular stone.
Yes, sir.
So what are the types? What are the types of callosial diverticuli?
Sir, there are three types of callosial diverticula. One with a narrow infundibulum and wide mouth, wide infundibulum and wide mouth. Two or three types.
Which classification you are telling? It is
But I don't know
it
the
is a
name.
Dretler classification, and there are 4 types.
4 types. Yes.
So open mouth and short neck, closed mouth and short
Yes,
neck,
sir.
closed mouth
Yes,
and
sir.
long neck. 4th is obliterated.
Okay.
Any other classification?
Sorry, sir.
Again, one more
I
classification
don't
is
know, sir, any other classification.
type 1 communicating to the minor calyx. That's what happening in this patient, which is usually present at the periphery. And type 2 is when it is communicating with the major calyx or to the renal pelvis, and it is located
Yes,
in
sir.
the center of the kidney.
Yes, sir.
So these are that is another classification: communication
Yes,
with
sir.
minor calyx and communication with major calyx, type 1 and type 2.
Yes, sir.
The importance of these classifications is that the second classification, which sir said, is an anatomical classification, and the Dretler classification, which was said, helps you in deciding the treatment.
Treatment, yes.
So now, can you tell me how it will help us deciding the treatment? We know that there are 4 groups:
Yes, sir.
open neck, short neck, closed mouth, short mouth, closed mouth, long neck, and obliterated neck. So
Yes, sir.
based on these 4, how will you decide the treatment?
Sir, we can decide the treatment as diverticular, which are the neck is very narrow.
I will tell the type, you tell the treatment.
Yes,
Open
sir.
mouth, short neck.
Open mouth, short neck, sir. We can do ESWL if the stone size is under the range of ESWL. For this stone, we cannot. It is 20 mm.
Close mouth,
But
short
if it is
neck.
open mouth, short neck, we can do.
Okay, open mouth, short neck, yes,
Close
WL,
mouth.
agreed. Close mouth, short neck.
Yes, sir.
Which treatment?
Close mouth,
Short neck.
close mouth.
क्लोज्ड है ना बाबा, खोलना पड़ेगा उसको.
Close. Yes, sir. PCNL.
Short neck it is, Shakul.
डायरेक्टली PCNL.
Closed mouth, but it is a short neck. So is there any other way?
तो बोझ नहीं पाओगे ना, तो PCNL आएगा.
Then flexible URS.
Yeah, so say it.
Yeah.
Good.
And for 3 and 4, it is percutaneous approach. That is closed mouth, long neck, and obliterated neck.
Yes.
So now, how will you counsel the patient?
Okay, so I have
Before this, I will just tell you must say that I will investigate patient for surgery,
anesthesia.
anesthesia, and
Sir, I have one question for Shakul. Which type is this now? Type, is it, what were the options? Closed mouth, sorry, open mouth, short neck, or closed mouth, short neck?
It looks to be open mouth and short neck.
Correct.
The contrast image, please.
Yeah.
जरा दिखाओ.
See carefully. See carefully, because by another classification, it is a type 1, communicating with the minor calyx present seen at the periphery of the kidney.
Shakul, Manas, now can you, what do you feel? Is it closed mouth, short neck, or open mouth, short neck?
Looks like open mouth short.
Open mouth, short neck.
Can you see where the contrast is reaching the diverticulum? Can you see the mouth?
But it might be obstructed by the calculus itself.
No, there is a. Can you see?
Contrast is not reaching.
Can you see the calyx black?
Contrast is not reaching the calyx.
Yeah, so now you think it is open mouth or short mouth? Sorry.
No,
No, but in the lower images, it is almost touching the calyx. That
Yeah.
upper one, I agree that it is far away, but in the lower one,
lower images where the it looks like an open neck.
correct. I also feel that because in the lower images, the contrast is touching the calyx.
Correct. Okay.
Someone is asking in the chat, Wolfson classification. So that classification is depending upon the filling pattern that can be applicable with our discussion. See now in the IVP.
Okay, sir.
Type 1 is when diverticulum take a bulbous form with narrow infundibulum. is type 1 and type 2 is spherical and shorter neck. The shape is spherical and shorter neck. That is the features seen on IVP.
Yes, sir.
And these are not dynamic images, so you may miss the contrast. You know.
Correct.
Another theoretical question, why diverticulum forms stones?
Yeah, Manas, can you answer this?
Because of stagnation of
urinary stasis, because of the urinary stasis which is there in the diverticulum, poor drainage associated with diverticulum.
What metabolic, commonly found metabolic problem in the diverticulum?
It's hypercalciuria is usually associated with it.
And hyperuricosuriia.
Yes, sir. Hypercalciuria and hypercalciuria.
So I have read this etiology long time back, but if I remember it right, there are both the theories available. One theory which says that it could be congenital, and there is another theory which says that it can be acquired. Because the incidence of calaceal diverticulum in pediatric as well as adult population is same, that is why they feel that it is more likely to be congenital. If it were acquired, then it would be more common in adults as compared to children.
Okay.
So both the theories are there, though I have not read it for a long time. So probably you people should tell me what the theories of origin of calaceal diverticulum are.
It is when it is a congenital, then during the branching pattern of ureteric bud into the metanephric blastema, the stage where if one of the branch fails to stimulate the appropriate site of the metanephros, which end up into the formation of the diverticulum. That is a congenital theory. And acquired, 3-4 things are there: obstructive, neuromuscular, traumatic, and fibrotic.
Yeah.
So this was a question in theory, for the students also.
Okay.
Radiology is a theory question for 4 marks. LAQ, part of LAQ.
Then incidence of calaceal.
Now 3 classifications, all of you go through it and make a note out of it. Because if it comes for a short note, you're done today and it's ready, you know.
It comes a theory question. This comes.
So you should finish it today only, no? When the knowledge is fresh.
Okay, so in this patient, the anesthesia related workup, 2D echo, everything was not.
So now what you like to do, whether you like to do ESWL Shakul or you want to do something else?
Whatever you want to do, how will you counsel the patient?
Prashant, just once, can you show the report of the CT scan?
Yes.
So that we can confirm the exact size and.
Yes. Ma'am, I'll read the report. There is evidence of small focal outpouching seen arising from the upper calyx, which is representing diverticulum, and there is the radiodens calculus of 900 Houns's unit measuring 9 mm in size within the calaceal diverticulum.
There
Okay.
is no comment on the type of the diverticulum.
Yes.
Yes.
So tell us what you want to do, Shakul. No problem.
Yes,
Spoken
sir.
to CT scan, the radiologist. The radiologist told me that the dye is not passing very well. As to
Any other way or confirmation before or during the surgery?
Shakul.
Retrograde pylori.
Yes.
Yes, we can do.
So Shakul, before going to retrograde pylorography, I first need you to tell me what is your treatment plan. What is your option 1, 2, 3?
Yes, sir. Sir, considering this to the open mouth and short neck diverticulum.
Yes.
And HU is 900 and its size is 9 mm.
Yes.
I would counsel the patient and I would counsel the patient for ESWL and flexible URS both. I will counsel the side effects and complications of ESWL. That ESWL will only break the stone, and drainage has to occur by its own. And since it is a diverticular, so there can be recurrence which can happen after ESWL. If we do a flexible URS or an RIRS, then we can pulverize the stone and we can also fulgurate the lining of the diverticulum.
So now coming to flexible, if you saw, just Tanvi just made a comment that when she went and discussed with the radiologist, she said that it was a very tiny track or maybe like literally no track or no communication.
No problem.
So now how will you counsel the patient? What will you tell him? That I am going to do flexible. Okay, ESWL will certainly fail if it's so narrow.
Yes, sir. I will counsel the patient that I will do URS and RIRS, but if the diverticular neck is narrow and the scope is not negotiable, I would convert it to a mini perf or a PCNL.
Okay, now coming to that question that Maheshwari sir asked you. So intraoperatively you can do something. So you did a retrograde pyelogram.
Yes, sir.
Did you do any special retrograde pyelogram to identify the diverticulum? You are going to go in with flexible, right?
Yes, sir.
Have you seen any calacial diverticulum with flexible? Have you seen any procedure?
I have seen one PCNL.
Indirectly,
PCNL,
what is meant by blue speeds technique?
Correct. That is what my question was. What is blue spritz technique? Spritz.
SPRITZ.
Oh, sir, I don't.
Okay, you have seen PCNL, right? In PCNL also, it can be that because it is a completely closed thing, you have chosen PCNL, right?
Yes, sir.
Now you have done a nice puncture. What puncture you will do? What is it called?
Stone puncture.
Very good. So you have
Stone
done a stone
puncture.
puncture. You are
Yes, sir.
in that calyx. You have removed the stone. And now you are in a big.
Yes, sir. Yeah, because the wire will coil in the calyx only, and it
Now
will.
you are in a dilemma. What will you do now? So the blue dye can be useful both, even when you're doing flexible, even PCNL, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
When you're doing PCNL also, you can put blue dye and see whether it is coming anywhere, any blue staining is occurring in that calyx.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so same thing, blue spritz technique is nothing but RGP. When you're doing the contrast,
Yes,
RGP.
sir. Yes, sir.
Contrast, you add methylene blue.
Yes, sir.
When you add methylene blue, the entire system becomes blue. Then you switch on your water, you switch on the flow, you irrigate the system.
Yes, sir.
So all the blue from rest of the pelvic colossal system will get washed out.
Yes, sir.
Only dye in the calyx will remain
Yes, sir.
in that calyx.
Yes, sir.
And then you switch off your water and you see if you see any trickle of blue coming anywhere.
Yes,
You
sir.
see a nice trickle of blue, you can identify that pinpoint opening and take
Yes,
it
sir.
there.
Yes, sir. We'll take an incision there with laser.
Open the
And
mouth. When you see
yes, sir. Open them. Yes, sir.
where you are away from the wall, then you will.
Yes, sir.
So infundibular vessels can be there.
Yes, sir.
So that is the blue spritz technique. It is also methylene blue is also useful when we do the PCNL punch.
In PCNL, you will see it coming inside the calyx.
Correct, sir.
And when you wash it out, the whole calyx, okay, then you may be able to see some kink. That is the coming from the opening.
Yes, sir.
Or again you inject dye to see from where it is.
Suppose now you have done PCNL and there is no blue dye coming. Contrast is also not coming. You have removed the stone. What will you do?
So we'll try to negotiate the wire.
It's not good. Any other technique is described in the book, in the Campbell.
Sir, we'll have to fulgurate the lining.
Correct. Why? Otherwise it will form a fistula, no?
Yeah, it will form a nephroperitoneous fistula. We would actually have forgot, but we would before doing the mini PCNL, we would like to counsel the patient for a nephroperitoneous fistula, which can occur in this case.
That is why I was continuously asking about counseling.
Yes, sir.
Start talking about the treatment in the counseling. You have to say, sir, if I give option of ESWL, I have to tell him the high chances of failure.
Yes, sir.
Because the tract is very small, the communication is very small. So high likelihood of ESWL failing, and multiple sessions of ESW will cause the stone to get impacted in the mucosa. That will make the case more difficult. Even if it's a small opening, that will get closed. Okay, so RIRS would have been a better option in this case rather than ESW.
Yes, sir.
So nice broad opening. Then if you would have said ESWL, that would have been good.
Yes,
So then in RIRS, you have to say that I will do RIRS, I will use the blue splits technique, I will try to identify the opening, but I will not make any blind this thing. You cannot see on CM and start cutting with laser.
If
It is not
if you seen the diverticulum in the center of the kidney and communicating with the major calyx, you can tell ESWL directly.
correct.
yes, sir.
But if it is when it is in periphery, by another classification, it is in periphery.
Yes, sir.
And if it is in attaching to the minor calyx, infundibulum is always narrow.
Yes,
Yes,
So the option remaining is only either RIRS or PCNS.
and this is the classical example. It is in the periphery, minor calyx, small communication. So it is very challenging. It is not so easy even in RIRS to identify.
Yes, sir.
So there is one question by Dr. Ankush. Is DJ stenting required before ESWL? I mean, always required?
No, so
No.
it should not be blindly followed. Now, in this case, what ESWL, what DJ stenting is going to do?
No, if suppose this was a big mouth diverticulum and we did ESWL, would we
No.
have
Any,
to do
देखो, the role of DJ stenting in lithotripsy or before doing the lithotripsy is very limited.
Yeah.
One, if the system is obstructed,
Okay, sir.
severely obstructed system, and if you are suspecting some infection or infected system, then yes, DJ stenting. Large size stone.
Correct.
If you are expecting the stone fragment may come down in the evening and block the system and patient may have the chance of getting the pain, yes, DJ stenting. But if it is a 1 centimeter, 8 millimeter stone, and if you are upper ureteric or pelvic stone or lower polar stone, why want to place the DJ stent? There is no role of DJ stent.
Impacted stone, you will do push bang. So when you push it
Yes.
and you bang it, then that area edematous can close and cause problems.
The older concept of the fragmentation, the space around the stone at the upper ureter, if there is a space, then the more good fragmentation. That's why the concept of pushback and lithotripsy was come.
Yes.
And to make that, the concept of DJ stenting was come. But
And-
there is a no any improvement in the fragment passage in the DJ stenting. So there is no routine role of DJ stenting.
Okay.
Sir is telling na, that role of space around the stone. See, Pankaj Maheshwari sir is also here from RG. We used to see Bapat sir coming, old timers. They used to stand next to the patient and give fluid. They used to keep telling, give fluid, hydrate the patient well, and then give lithotripsy.
Yes, sir.
Pankaj sir,
Yes.
opinion.
Sorry, what about the DJ stent part?
Yeah, what is the DJ stent part?
Role of DJ stent prior to lithotripsy. Apply
So
ESW.
what I would strongly feel is that if a patient you feel needs a DJ stent, probably your indication of ESWL you should re-evaluate. So there was a thought when DJ stent was placed for large stones. So any patient who has a large stone whom you feel will need DJ stent and may need multiple sessions of ESWL, probably it's better to look at other options rather than doing stent plus ESWL.
Agreed.
And Gita said that stent does not improve fragment clearance. Go a step further and say that stent reduces fragment clearance.
Agreed, sir.
So fragment clearance is rather slower in presence of stent. The only indication for stent, as far as I would be concerned, would be a patient who has got a solitary kidney.
Okay, sir.
You know, here also there is a very interesting anecdote I want to tell you. Means this is one case report we missed publishing. What is important? Is it a solitary kidney or a solitary ureter? Means we had a patient, we commonly say solitary kidney, but it is not solitary kidney which is important. It's solitary ureter which is important. We had a patient who had a transureterostomy and ESWL was given. The fragments came and got clogged in the lower part of the Y of the ureter. So it is whenever there is a solitary ureter to drain your kidney, that time stenting is extremely important. Otherwise, any large stone, any poorly radiodense stone, placing a stent is absolutely futile. pushback is again an absolutely outdated concept. You see, there was a time, as Dr. Hiran very rightly said, that we used to push the stone back thinking that fluid in the renal pelvis will help the stone to break better. But
Yes.
now it is very well known that
What?
stones break good even in the ureter. So
Yes.
pushing it back would not help. Rather, if you push it back and it happens to go in the lower calyx, your fragment clearance will further reduce.
Yes.
Yes,
So if it's a non-obstructed stone, less than 10 millimeters with optimum Hounsfield unit, you can do in situ ESWL for a ureteric stone, but no pushback, no degestant.
I agree.
Okay, one more question, sir. Is there any role of ECIRS in this patient?
Now, you see, this patient has a stone, a calycial diverticulum, which is in the upper pole. As we have said, anatomically it is type 1. That means we expect the infundibulum to be narrow. So my plan in this patient would be to first do a RGP, check whether I can see the neck, whether I can see any drainage through the diverticulum, and then take a call whether I do RIRS or I do mini PCNL.
Absolutely, I agree, sir.
The problem with RIRS is I may not find the neck. There, the blue spritz technique could be used. The problem with doing mini perk in this situation will be that this puncture will be a supracostal axis. So there is a theoretical risk of, say, going through pleura. Further, PCNL in these diverticula is very difficult because the neck of the diverticulum is very narrow. So the risk of over dilatation and fragmenting the neck, or rather the diverticulum, and your fragments or stones going outside the kidney is very, very high. So you need to be very, very cautious during this dilatation. One technique described for PCNL for these patients to prevent this type of problems with dilatation is that you place a through and through wire. So you place a wire so that it goes through one wall of the diverticulum, other wall of the diverticulum, and goes in the PCS and let it go down the ureter. So now you have a stable wire. Now you can dilate only till the diverticulum, remove the stones, then look for the neck through the methane push through the ureteric catheter. If you find the neck, place a wire across this neck, dilate this neck. One more common confusion is whether we should be placing the stent in the diverticulum. It is not necessary. Even if you place it, it will not stay there. So just place a nephrostomy tube across the dilated diverticular neck. Keep the nephrostomy tube for 2 to 3 days, and that is all that is needed.
I just want to clarify what Dr. Pankaj has said. You are putting wire through and through. So how you are going to do it is actually you are puncturing the diverticulum through it,
Deliberately puncturing through the diverticulum.
and then putting the guide wire. So you
So
may
the
not be going.
advantage of the wire is stable.
So Tanvi, your question was ECIRS.
No, yeah, one student has asked me.
No. So see, let me explain. ECIRS is when there is a significant load in the kidney. So, for example, the case that I presented, there were 4 stones in all four calyces, and it was a bifid system. That means there were 2 calyces on top, 2 below, and it was bifid, and a stone in the renal pelvis. Now here, how many punctures will you take? So what we did is we took a lower calycial puncture and with the flexible, and it was nicely dilated system. So with the flexible, you could get all the satellite stones and give it to that one track. So therein you are reducing the morbidity. Here to do a supine in this kind of a situation with the upper calycial is very difficult, and definitely it will cause some pleural injury and also peritoneal injury.
Okay, sir.
So ECRS is not indicated for this case. Absolutely not.
Okay, sir. That's what one. It was a student's question. So,
Yeah.
thank you. Okay.
Just for completion's sake, one last question from my side is there any role for laparoscopy or robotics in this patient, in calycial diverticulum, not in this patient?
Shakul, any idea? Manas? Manas?
Manas, just say if you don't know, no problem. or you can even a wild guess, you can say logically also you can answer.
It's a peripherally located stone, so maybe
Peripheral or somewhere, some other word.
Superficial.
Some other word. You are near to that.
Yes. So if it is peripheral and posterior, you can do a PCNL. But if it is peripheral and anterior, making an anterior puncture would be difficult. So anterior collateral stone with a large stone, I mean anterior diverticular collateral diverticulum with a large stone, there could be a place for laparoscopy.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Okay, Prashant, what did we do?
Our patient underwent left RIRS and laser lithotripsy. So this is opening of the diverticulum. And then we
You can also appreciate thin membrane. So this is classically nice.
yes. And then it is diverticular opening is make widened with the laser. So this is the opening. These are the stone actually.
The image is a little blurred, but you have any other?
You can see the how ragged the opening is, and you can see that green color thing, light green light. Yes, that is the cool.
Laser, Holmium laser.
Yes. Fine. Okay. Anything else?
So one OSCE question, one OSCE.
No, but let us know all these things. What are the complications? Shakul?
Yes, sir.
What is the complication you are afraid of? When you don't see the opening and you are using
Yes,
the
sir.
laser,
Bleeding.
Yes.
yes. Manas, what is the first? Bleeding.
Bleeding can happen,
Bleeding.
and we might have to abandon because of the.
So where you should make the opening?
Sir, on the
Should cut where you should lace.
on
Where you
on
put
the
the
stone
laser?
or the most peripheral, if we can see a thin membrane, then
Thin. Very good. So if it is a little transparent or thin membrane which you can
Yes.
see,
Yes.
okay, you should do it. Right? And usually it should be more laterally because all the vessels are coming from medial. Very good. Okay, so now you cut it. I was with Dr. Hiren and we have seen that case. Correct, Hiren? In RJ Stone?
Yeah, way back in 2011, sir, when I just came back from my fellowship, there was a similar case with a collateral diverticulum. I managed to get, it was quite at an angle. I opened it. This, what sir is telling, that is a different case which we did. Sir was also there. But this one complication, what sir is asking about bleeding, I experienced it. I cut the diverticulum, I cleared the stone. Patient started getting severe pain post-operatively. Then the sonography, he had a large hematoma. And I observed the patient for almost 1 month. After his hematoma settled down, there was no acute thereafter.
So now the bleeding can take place in two ways. Correct? You may perforate the
into
parenchyma.
the system or outside.
Yeah, and so one is the inside. So what will happen? What Dr. Hiren is saying is the hematoma outside. So how will you do it? How will you manage it?
The most important trick is while doing the incision, you ask anesthetist to hold the respiration. That is what happened with me. I was sweating and suddenly there was a deep breath and it went out.
Always they do it under general anesthesia. That is number. They may ask you this question.
Question to this. Suppose the patient bleeds intraop while I was cutting this membrane. Suppose
No, that is what Tanvi we are discussing. Number one, that is a hematoma.
So sir said
which
that
is
was a parenchymal. Now intraoperatively inside you're seeing bleeding in the pelvic.
So yeah. So first you tell me, Shakul, how will you manage? If there is a patient, as Dr. Hiren Soda said, there is a pain and there is a
That is the
you are expecting hemoglobin has dropped.
That is
Post-operatively or intraoperatively?
no. So what sir, first scenario what sir gave, there was pain and hematoma. That is like a PCNL hematoma. You will wait and watch. If it is not expanding, you don't do anything. It resolves on its own.
Yes, sir.
Now sir is asking
Yes,
about intraoperative bleeding.
Now intraoperatively. Suppose if you are cutting and suddenly there is a bleeding.
In
what
the
will you do?
pelvic collateral system, sir said you made an incision and it has started bleeding now. You can't see anything. What will you do?
So we would first check the vitals. We would ask the anesthetic to check the vitals, and if there is a sudden drop in in the blood pressure, we'll check and we'll give IV fluids accordingly. Then, if it's bleeding intraoperatively, we would like to know the color and the nature of the bleed, whether it is bright red or it is dark red. If it is dark red and it appears to be venous, with the irrigation it is clearing off, then we can continue. We can continue with that.
Check the vitals, the stabilize, the patient is stabilized, all
Yes,
that is
sir.
fine. But first thing is
Yes,
stop cutting. Stop cutting.
Yes,
Stay
sir.
there, look inside, irrigate nicely.
Increase the pressure of the irrigating fluid and then see if we can localize the
Most of the bleeding stops if you just wait.
Yes, sir.
Wait and you give good irrigation, not too
Yes,
much
sir.
pressure. You should use a irrigation system because
Yes,
that is
sir.
scientifically proved to give adequate pressure. Don't
Yes,
ask a man to give full pressure like that. So no mechanical pressure, but just normal pressure of the irrigation system. And if you give good hydration,
Yes,
good irrigation of the system, usually the bleeding stops.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Secondly, you can use some dye contrast. It allows
Yes, sir.
the bleeding to get settled. Of course, it's an arterial bleed. You'll see it as a sputter. If there's
Yes,
an
sir.
arterial bleed, you can just keep your laser fiber little bit away and just use low energy and low frequency, and you can just fulgurate.
So from a distance, because
Just,
from a
just at
distance.
the bleeder. If you keep going inside, it will go more deeper. So you should not try to attempt that. It is a very,
Yes.
very skilled thing. It is also like sometimes in OLAP, Pankaj sir will tell you, sometimes you see a bleeder, you just try to diffusely burn it with a laser.
Yes.
And it stops. In OLAP also, many times when we are doing, we see bleeding. But then if you just continue and be patient, automatically it stops after.
So after that,
Maheshwari ji, you want to comment on any of your experience?
Actually, I have a short video of this blue spritz technique. So, Tanvi, if you can allow me to share the screen, I will do that.
Prashant, you need to stop sharing.
Yes.
This is the last slide, na? Our last slide, no?
Yes. Yes. Ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah. This is last. Okay. I'll stop my sharing.
Yes, sir. Maheshwari, sir, you can share your screen with us.
Yes, I'm ready. Okay, so can you see this X-ray?
Yes, sir.
We have this diverticulum which is arising from the middle pole. This IVP is showing a very faint trace of contrast inside the diverticulum. So flexible ureteroscopy was planned. Now that's the initial RGP being done. Okay. So on retrograde pyelography, I was unable to see the neck well. Rather, I was unable to see where exactly the diverticulum was coming out from. So we went up with the flexible scope. We looked at every calyx, but the neck was not very clearly seen. What you need to do at this situation is that you need to take fluoroscopy into help to understand that you are in the right place. You can see diffuse papillary calcification everywhere. Now, can you make out a very thin mucosa and stones behind this mucosa?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So this was the calyx which had contained the stone. So here I put methylene blue, wait for a couple of seconds, let the methylene blue get washed out. And now after washing out of methylene blue, I was again looking for whether I can see the efflux. So no efflux was seen. That means the diverticular neck was practically non-existent. Now, because the mucosa was very thin, we decided to cut directly over the visible stone. The stones were visible beyond the mucosa. So we made a very small puncture, and through that puncture, the stones were very clearly seen. Now, once you know you are inside, you gradually increase this puncture. Remember that you increase it in all directions. Don't just increase it in a single plane. So you practically make a cruciate incision and gradually keep on increasing all around. So this patient had multiple small stones. As I kept on increasing the neck, the stone fragments kept on coming out.
Yes, sir.
Now, one
These are
thing I want,
fragments out.
Pankaj, I don't know whether you have seen the same thing or not. That most of the time in this diverticulum, closed diverticulum, we see not one big stone, but they are the multiple small stones.
You're absolutely right.
My experience.
I have a similar video with million stones inside. Small stones.
So even
So
our
you see also the renal pelvis now. So
Exactly.
this is the renal
I have
pelvis
a
and upper
similar video,
ureter.
exactly like
And
this.
all fragments now in the renal pelvis and upper ureter.
Yeah.
so even our video was similar only, sir.
Similar. Yeah. That's what Gaurang sir is saying. That you always see that sometimes on IVP it appears like one big stone, but there are multiple stones.
Good video, Pankaj.
Thank you, sir. So luckily I had it on my computer, so I thought we could just share that.
Fantastic. Because see, everyone is not able to do RIRS or C. So, or even they are doing then diverticulum is not so common. So this is a good thing.
Can you all see my screen now?
Yes, very good.
Okay, Shakul,
Yes, ma'am.
this is your image. See it for 5-10 seconds. Then I'll ask you OSCE questions.
This is a plain X-ray KUB. Poorly.
Wait, you're ready?
Yes, ma'am. I'm ready.
Now this is not case presentation, okay? This is OSCE. So this patient's X-ray, this patient is a 40-year-old male who came with pain in abdomen since 4 months and no other symptoms. His creatinine is 1.2 and CBC is normal. To identify this study,
This is plain X-ray KUB.
and is it a complete film?
No,
Let's discuss this in the case presentation.
no. Cubic symphysis is not seen, so it is not complete.
Okay. Spot the diagnosis.
Diagnosis is probably bilateral renal calculi.
Sir, are you all satisfied
What's
with
the
that?
diagnosis?
See properly, Ishwar.
Very
Arey,
properly, beta.
There is a stone on the left side.
Yes.
Where is it?
So, on layer multiple renal calculi.
It's quite central. No?
Yes, sir.
what is your suspected diagnosis now?
Somebody has told in the chat it's a horseshoe kidney.
Yeah.
Write down, like your OSCE answer should be for 2 marks. So bilateral staghorn calculi in a horseshoe kidney.
Tanvi, is there a ROD on L5 also?
That is
Yeah.
what I was suspecting.
Correct.
Yes.
No,
No,
not
no.
that.
Sorry, sir,
L5.
on
no.
Yeah.
There is, I think there is, Sir Gaurang sir would remember.
that could be the ureter or maybe the isthmus.
I think it was the isthmus calculus, na, sir, which you.
Yes, Thomas.
Yeah.
So you must always see the location, huh, Shakul?
Yes, sir.
The minute you drew your attention, you thought, can it be a horseshoe kidney?
Yes, sir. Okay, so what is the next radiological investigation of choice for this patient? Read the whole question again and then answer.
You know there are multiple stones. You know there could be an anomaly. So what would you like to do?
Manas, you can think of anything?
CT IVP, sir.
CTIPU, sir.
Oh, CT urography.
But with what?
With
Simple or some
Only-
specific word?
Because it is an isthmus calculus you're suspecting.
What is that word?
yes, sir. With CT NGO.
What is the phase? What is this called?
Right.
Triple phase. Triple phase.
Yeah.
Venous and urography.
don't write triple phase, you will lose 1 mark out of 2. If you write only urography in OSCE.
Yes. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Enumerate the main points you will see or you will check for in this CT scan. What all will you check for? Just enumerate.
We'll check for the obstruction, whether bilateral drainage is okay or not, whether there is any obstruction at the level of the isthmus.
You ask for a triphasic CT, right?
Yes, sir.
Can you come straight to obstruction? Will
Start
you not,
from plain.
will you not check good uptake on both sides? Parenchyma.
Start from plain film. In plain film, what will you see?
Hello, you're saying well. Be confident.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. On plain film, we'll see all the hello
Yeah.
radio opacities, and we'll check for the concentration, uptake, and excretion of the contrast
Very good.
bilaterally. We would also look for look at the course of the ureters.
Yes.
Are they overriding over the isthmus?
Yes, sir. Are they overriding over the isthmus? Is there any change in the caliber of the ureters? Is there any narrowing is there?
Is there drainage into the ureters?
What else will you?
Yes, sir. And delayed films with
See, I'll tell you in OSCE, you need to write like this. First, you have to say size. I will see the number of stones, the size of stones, the site of the stones, the density or Hounsfield unit of the stones. Then you will see for the function and uptake of the kidney. You will see for the course of ureters and any other abnormalities. Then you will see in the vascular phase for any vascular abnormalities or how the arteries and the veins are placed. And that's it, no, sir?
Whenever I'm counseling a patient, now I write urography. If I write urography, I make 3 arrows. I tell them anatomy, function, and third arrow I write stone. And then I write size, shape, composition, number, okay, unilateral, bilateral. So then you have covered everything about the stone. What Tanvi is telling you, very important point. Size, shape, number, how many stones, unilateral, bilateral. So you have covered everything about the stone. Then the function, good uptake and excretion on both sides. And then the drainage. And then the anatomy.
So,
Here the arterial anatomy is very important for 2 reasons.
Yeah.
So what are the 2 reasons?
yes, sir. Sir, RT.
One reason is one you want to decide the function.
Yes, sir.
Correct?
Yes, sir.
So that you don't any major vessel you damage.
Inferior.
And second thing is, in case if you want to cut the isthmus, you want to
Yes, sir.
see whether it is supplied by any bigger branch or not. So
Yes, sir.
you understand? These are the 2
Yes.
things you require arteriography and is important. Okay, what is the surgical treatment of choice for this patient?
Laparoscopy assisted PCNL.
Why?
Why?
Why lap assisted PCNL? Horseshoe kidney, man.
So if it's malrotated, we don't know. PCNL.
Why horseshoe kidney be malrotated? In fact, why PCNL in horseshoe kidney? Why PCNL? And which?
Why you will not do PCNL, laparoscopic assisted PCNL?
So why PCNL and which calyx you will take? Why arterial anatomy was important? Why sir asked you the arterial anatomy? Which calyx you avoid in horseshoe kidney?
Anterior calyces we avoid because the kidney is rotated anteromedially. So posterior calyces are more posterior.
correct.
And because of there is a problem in the ascent, so we can take a supracalaceal puncture. We can take into the posterior calyx.
So posterior calyx is right there, no? And superior calyx is very superficial. So you want to avoid lower calyceal punctures, arteries are there only, no?
Yes, sir. So we want to avoid lower calyceal puncture. We will take a superior calyceal puncture.
In fact, it's good not to take superior calyceal puncture. You can almost reach everywhere.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes you can even reach isthmus.
Yes, sir. And since
Yeah.
since it's a problem of ascent, so there will be less chances of fluid injury or lung injury in horseshoe kidneys if we take a suprapostal puncture.
In fact, you can reach isthmus, but sometimes nephroscope is short. You may need long nephroscope.
Or flexible.
Very good.
So Shakul, how will you again answer for 2 marks, just in 1 or 2 lines? What will be the treatment for this patient? In one breath, you have to answer.
It would be a posterior glacial supracostal.
No, better. First, you decide your
supracostal
line of
puncture.
treatment. What you want to do?
Bilateral.
PCNL.
No,
You want to do PCNL.
Bilateral PCNL.
So first you say,
Bilateral PCNL.
yeah. So you like to do bilateral PCNL in this patient
Yes.
through
Supracostal puncture.
puncture,
Don't say supraclavicular puncture, say upper calyx access.
upper calyx.
हाँ,
Upper glacial.
है ना, वो तो
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sorry. Yes, sir. Upper glacial approach.
Yeah,
Upper glacial puncture.
with flexible nephroscopy standby. You could also
With flexible nephroscopy.
have it there. Yeah.
Okay, I have not added this
These
question.
are the what Dr. Pankaj Maheshwari is telling you. Please remember, you
Yes.
apply this knowledge in each and every answer that you are going to write. It is
Yes,
so specific, and this is most important. We are sometimes, lagging in picking up the right words for our answer, and in asking, this is most important.
Yes.
Same even for theory paper.
See, in your mind, everyone knows what you know. I understand what you mean by supracostal when you're saying like that.
Yes, sir. Definitely.
But in an exam, when you, it is a
Upper glacial puncture.
Correct. And okay, I've not added this question, but one question: what will you counsel such a patient about pre-operatively with this kind of stone load?
Incomplete clearance.
Staged procedures, multiple
The
procedures.
word is staged
Stage.
procedure. Okay, and suppose the patient develops fever with burning micturition 2 days before you plan the surgery. Now, what will you do?
Investigations, urine routine culture, CBC, then antibiotics according to culture sensitivity. If fever is not decreasing, then we will do bilateral degestenting.
Is that okay?
No, it is okay. When your plan is that when your treatment plan is PCNL, why do you want to place a stent? You place a nephrostomy tube.
Yes, sir. Bilateral PCN.
So it will serve you both the purposes:
Yes, sir.
a better drainage and access for further treatment.
Yes, sir. So that track we can go and do our procedure.
Yes.
So when you say degestenting instead of PCN, you lose 2 marks, huh?
How many punctures you think you will make it?
How many punctures?
You think you can make it?
Manas,
And what about those two on the right hand side? There are two small stones. They are also in the calyx, correct? Medial
Yeah.
calyx. Above, yes. These two. How will you puncture them? As the superior calyxal puncture you go, you may get something. But you think that you will be able to go there?
So maybe a lower calyxal puncture we are not taking. We might not be able to reach into the lower calyx stones which are there.
So in this case, you will have to do multiple punctures.
Yes.
Pankaj sir,
Yes.
any role of ECIRS in this patient?
You see, in any complex PCNL, ECIRS has a place, but in horseshoe kidney, more than ECIRS, and especially when the system is so dilated, I would be more comfortable with a percutaneous access with a flexible nephroscope. These stones which are in the ischemic calyx, flexible nephroscopy will be a better way to reach them.
yes.
Agreed.
Now, somebody just mentioned laparoscopy assisted PCNL for horseshoe kidney.
Yes, sir. So,
where has it been reported and why has it been reported? When will you do it?
Shakul, you only said no laparoscopy.
Yes, sir. If we see that in the line of our puncture, a bowel is there, And we may.
But while the vowel will come better, you just see the upper pole, it is going right up to the 12th leaf. See? And you are
Yes,
going to
sir.
do it from behind, huh?
See, this is 12th
Yes,
rail.
sir.
This is your upper pole, both places.
See, there is a difference between the
Here
pelvic
you must
knee
know
and
the what is the role of assistance. Okay, why assistance is
The
required? If you know that, you will answer.
assistance can only be required if we are doubting that during our tract and dilatation bowel will be there in between. So the assistance through the laparoscopy, he can remove the bowel from the path of the.
You will ask lap assisted PCNL.
Yes, sir.
In which case you will do lap assisted PCNL.
Malrotated kidney,
no.
ectopic kidney,
Ectopic where?
ectopic kidney in the pelvis,
Yes.
Yes,
Correct.
where the bowel are
Yes.
supposed to be.
No, you cannot do puncture. No? You have to go anterior. Posteriorly,
Yes,
you
sir.
can't do.
Malrotated
Any kidney where you cannot do posterior,
PCNL puncture.
Yes, sir.
you have to. You can do assisted.
So,
But anyway, I don't have any nephroscope or anything. So what I do is, in all this, I have done about 35 cases. Everywhere I do a direct puncture. So after clearance, whatever the stone remains, if I cannot see through a nephroscope, because I am going from behind, I directly puncture, bullseye. I directly puncture the stone, dilated tract can remove the stone.
so that you can do.
And maybe this is not what you are supposed to say in exam. I don't know, but this is what I am doing because I don't have nephroscope. I don't, earlier there were no CT angiography, like, you know, it was so difficult to get it. So I have never done angiography also on such patients. भगवान भरोसे सब किया है.
सर आपके
This
हाथ
is just
में
for your information, huh?
आपके
Please.
हाथ में जादू है, लेकिन एग्जाम में ऐसा नहीं
नहीं. I told them. They don't say, but see, they are going to practice. Many of them may practice places where all these things are not available. Sometimes you have to, use your logic or whatever it is. My logic is very simple. The vessels are all anteriorly. We are going from behind, okay? And even the ureter is anteriorly. So if you do a direct puncture over here, you are going to go through the parenchyma and you are going to enter into the dead calyx. The only thing is that your puncture should be proper. And then you dilate, just remove the stone and come out. This is what I do.
Yes, sir.
Pankaj bhai, any comment?
Absolutely fair. I agree that, you see, it can be done, but surely students should not be talking about this.
No. Please,
Yes.
This is
Yes.
for your practical, means what I see that when you start your practice and when you come across such cases, what you can do. You should not be frightened. Nothing else. But in exam, you will not say. You will say, as Dr. Jite always says, I will call my senior colleague and I will take his help. Finish.
So, Prashant, when you said laparoscopy assisted PCNL, I'm again coming to that because I can't leave this opportunity of self-praise. You see, I have one report of lap assisted PCNL for horseshoe kidney. And this was a patient who had a large stone in the ischemic calyx with a narrow infundibulum of the ischemic calyx. So there was no other access but to go transperitoneal. That's one of the rare papers where lap-assisted PCNL has been done for horseshoe kidney, but otherwise horseshoe kidney does not need lap-assisted PCNL.
Yes, sir.
super selective indication.
Yes. On Gita Sahab, that means in most of the chapters of horseshoe kidney, that paper gets quoted.
Definitely, sir, because rarely seen.
Yes.
Good. So, Pankaj, today we came to know, we learned many more things. Huh? That's a good thing.
Nice video of ECIRS. If next time if they are interested, just describing how the procedure is done, positioning, and how the procedure is done, and how to select the cases and all. And
In between discussion or at the end of discussion, it is definitely a good thing.
And next time if they want any armamentarium or tips and tricks in RIRS, I can take. If at all we don't have any case or any such days, then I can show them that presentation.
Yes, sir.
will coincide. We'll take such a case that, still will be, because they are the first year and second year student mainly. The
Yes.
third year are busy in their theory exam, because which is in I think 12th or 13th of December. So for them, malignancy is little far fetched. So I think we should go ahead with a
Simple
calculus
cases.
disease 2-3 times, and then so they get Galbert's with their, and then endourology basically.
Yes.
What do you think, Pankaj bhai?
Yes, yes. So there is so much to discuss in stone
Yes.
disease.
Correct.
Let's first finish that.
Finish. Okay. Huh? Okay, Sunny. So next time we'll take other calculus diseases only. Fine?
Okay, tell Prashant also. Prashant.
Yeah. Prashant, yes, fine. We have got the cases we'll discuss. Okay?
Yes.
Okay.